I am currently 40 weeks pregnant. This 40 weeks pregnant feels very different than last 40 weeks pregnant. Last time we bought the house we currently live in, I want to say at like 38 weeks or so. So I would just remember being like 38 or 39 weeks, doing the inspection and being like, baby, you need to stay in there. You cannot come. This time around, I still have that same kind of mentality of like 38, 39 weeks, do not come, because I don't really want a Gemini boy baby. As silly as that might sound, I really want a Cancer boy. Because my original due date of my last pregnancy was January 9th, we started getting people calling us and asking us if the baby was here in December. So it literally was almost 2 months of people asking us where the baby was. By the time I hit 40 weeks, I was starting to get a little bit nervous. As much as I didn't want the baby to come before 40 weeks because of buying the house, I was just like over it and tired. This pregnancy, we handled it a lot differently. We really did not tell people our actual due date. I would usually just say, oh, late June. And that was it. Once I had the spare baby medium session, I would start saying June 23rd because I do like that day. I like any day after the 21st. For me this time around, it was keeping that very close to my chest so I didn't have to deal with people asking us about when the baby was coming. I definitely held back on sharing as much publicly as a result too, because there was a lot that was just different about this pregnancy as far as the care I received. Last pregnancy, I wanted to do a home birth. When I told people I wanted to do that, I was just met with a lot of pushback, to put it delicately. Both my husband and I come from kind of medical families. He was still skeptical. I didn't have his support. I really didn't have anyone's support, so I didn't do the home birth. Instead, I did a hospital birth, and as far as hospital births go, everything I wanted. I still had no medical interventions, no medications, other than because I was GBS positive, they gave me part of the antibiotic drip. It was good, but it also wasn't exactly what I wanted. This pregnancy, we decided not to tell anyone that I was doing a home birth until like the end. I think Eric may have told his family. I still haven't told mine. And I didn't say it publicly until like just now or maybe a week ago that that's what I was doing. Very much only told a few people that this was the plan. As far as like how I prepared for labor, last pregnancy, I went to a hypnobirthing class. I worked with shamans, I worked with astrologers, I worked with a lot of energy healers, but I really avoided any birth stories. Like other than the videos they showed in hypnobirthing class, which are all just very gentle, the women breathing the baby down, no real sounds associated with it, just very quiet, peaceful. I didn't actually allow myself to hear any stories from people or look at anything, any sort of scene on TV or movies that had birth or pregnancy talked about. I'd skip over it. This pregnancy, I sought positive home birth stories. I wanted to hear what women sounded like in those situations, because one of the things that was hard for me in my last delivery was I was trying to keep it so to a T with what hypnobirthing was. In hypnobirthing, they want you to breathe in and out of your nose. That wasn't working for me. I really needed to exhale out my mouth, and because I ended up penting up so much energy that when I finally did release from my mouth, it was more primal, I would say. Versus what I plan to utilize my breath for this time, which is low moans. So keeping the jaw relaxed that way. This time it was just more about getting into like the physiology of birth for me. Yes, I had learned in hypnobirthing about how the cervix opens and how the baby moves down the birth canal, but this time I really kind of clicked for me the Instagram account Pain Free Birth to be really helpful and kind of breaking some of this stuff down for me and connecting certain dots. So this time it's just a lot more about being in my body, because if you heard my first birth story, every hour and a half I was somewhere new. Constant out of body movement experience, whereas this time being home, I know things are going to be much kind of different and calmer and more peaceful, and I'm very excited for that. My last birth, I manifested to a T. This one, I still am going to manifest to a T, but this one, I want to be blissful and pleasurable and calm and supported, whereas last time it was quick. That was really what I cared about. Quick, fast, easy, So I got a few questions about where we shop for clothes for the kids and what we got for baby this time. I did not get much for baby at all. First, like newborn stuff, I literally just like these little kimonos that have the side buttons. When their umbilical cord still attached, I don't even do the bottom. I just kind of like let the kimonos ride. I have some half shirt ones that we already had from when I was pregnant with Reagan. So that's the deal with these. And I got those from Honest. I also really love those long sleep gowns. No buttons, no zippers, no nothing to deal with. Super simple. And the other brand that I've been really into lately, Little Planet, which is Carter's organic brand. I got this cute little 3-pack of onesies for him. I don't buy a lot of newborn clothes. I buy a lot of like 3 to 6 month clothes. My kids' clothes are either too big on them or too small on them, I feel like. Also got this cute little sun hat for him because I know we'll be outside a lot. I'd say the biggest item I got this time around, which I am so in love with, I got a sleep gown and a little knit hat from Solly Baby, and these are just so soft. So these are the gowns I was talking about. This one has a knot at the bottom. These feel like heaven. I also got a new little swaddle for him. And I got a new baby wrap. So we baby wore so much with Reagan, and the one I had polka dots on it, and Eric would always get looks, not only because he was wearing a baby, but also I think because he was wearing a polka dotted carrier. I am obsessed with their stuff, and this is the first time I'm actually owning it. My friends all had it, and I would touch it, and it's so breathable, so soft, so comfy, worth it. The best baby wrap I have come across, in my opinion. We actually don't buy a ton of stuff for our kids. My sister just had a baby like a year or so ago, so she gave us her baby Bjorn that they use. I wasn't gonna even take it, but his mom brought it over, so I was like, sure, we can use it, test it out, try it out, because I know people always have questions about that because it's kind of a big ticket item. We get some hand-me-downs from them, and then I've been really fortunate that my friends' kids are all 4 and 6 already. So I get a lot of their hand-me-downs. I literally have stuff in storage for Reagan for when she's 4 to 6 years old, the clothes then. That's also why Reagan's clothes are all generally a little too big on her. They are generally from other people. Most of our friends have girls. I did get a few more boyish items, but you guys may have noticed too, I generally dress Reagan in very gender neutral clothes. The girlier stuff she does own or stuff that was hand-me-down. What is happening with YouTube and my work? So my last maternity leave, and this kind of ties into another question, which was, how's postpartum going to be different this time than last? The last postpartum, because Reagan came at like 41, 42 weeks, I had planned out to take 2 or 3 weeks off after she got here, but because she was so late, it ended up eating into that time. So I was literally in the hospital working after she was born. This time around, I decided to get way more organized and plan things out. So about a year ago, I completely changed my business model, pretty much stopped working with brands, pretty much started only doing affiliate stuff for products that we actually use or had in our house for a year, which I think was a cool thing that I actually got to start by just looking around my house and saying, what's in my house? And let me just create content around that. So I made everything a lot simpler. I have pre-recorded content all the way out through September for you guys. Everything should run normal on there, and blog content will still be going up like usual, but I actually was able to plan a nice maternity leave. And as far as like how we're doing postpartum different this time versus last time, Eric comes from a world where like everybody had a night nurse after postpartum. I never felt comfortable with that. Instead of getting a night nurse, I decided we would do the snoo because it was cheaper than a night nurse anyway. I love our snoo. My daughter has all of the makings for not being a good sleeper, but I'm convinced the snoo helped us make her a good sleeper and make us good at supporting her as a good sleeper. I'll probably do a snoo review with this baby in like 4 months or so. So any questions you have about the snoo, feel free to drop them below. Instead, what we also did was we had a postpartum doula for 12 hours after Reagan. And that was for a couple reasons. We were literally moving within a month of her being born. Our postpartum doula came twice the first week after she was born. And what she essentially did was she kind of just walked us through some stuff that we didn't feel comfortable with yet. Doing the bath for the first time at home, supporting me with breastfeeding, breastfeeding, because I never took a breastfeeding course or read a breastfeeding book, but I was doing it, she cooked for us. So she made us lunches that day, and she would batch make us a couple of casseroles that we would have for the next 4 nights. And then she'd come, and then we had for 4 more nights, and then our friends had brought us some food, so our food was all covered. And then she came the first week that we moved into this new house to help out with the baby while I was unpacking, made sure I was getting food, all of that type of stuff. This time around, we're not doing a postpartum doula because I prepped everything in advance. I'm obviously working a lot less this time than last time. We're not moving houses. Both last time and this time, we have a rule that's very, I guess you could say controversial, but it's very untraditional in that we don't see family the first 30 days. Other than the postpartum doula or my doula or midwife, it's just us as family in our regular routine. And that's because we have just always believed that the first month with a new human in your house is so important and critical for bonding as a new family. And we just didn't want and don't want the energy to be disrupted. We want to find our footing. We don't want to feel like we're managing anyone else's feelings or anything like that. So yeah, we didn't do any family the first month after Reagan. Same exact plan this time. And then Reagan starts preschool about 6 weeks after the baby comes. And so that's going to be a big adjustment too. I'm definitely a little bit nervous about it, but I'm also excited because I think it'll give her enough time to feel supported in this new family, in this new role. But it also will quickly get us back to being able to just manage 1 kid with 2 businesses. That's the plan. We'll see how it goes. We need to hire some more babysitters or postpartum doula or ask family. We can always do any of that. For us, we have found that the more we invest in keeping our energy of our house as calm and spa-like as possible, and everybody that walks into our house always says that our house is so calm, the more we say it pay off with our kids and with ourselves. And then the other question I got was, how am I feeling? And I'm feeling good. I physically generally feel very good during pregnancies. I see a prenatal chiropractor throughout my entire pregnancy. Both times I go in water, like the ocean or the pool or the jacuzzi, every single day during both pregnancies. So I think all those things just really help keeping me physically feeling good. As far as emotionally goes, this time around, if you guys watched my second trimester vlog or one of the earlier vlogs, I cut drama out of my life very quickly and had a very low tolerance policy. I try to create like a little sanctuary. I double down on work, which means I'm very strict about where I'm investing my time while I'm pregnant. If it's not expansive and lighting me up or moving my business forward to give me more time with my babies postpartum, it was just a no for me. And I'm just very, very strict about the people I allow in my life, the conversations I allow in my life, all of that type of stuff to keep my emotional well-being grounded. It works for me. I know it's not for everybody. You definitely need to have a thick skin and be okay with pissing people off in doing that. And that's kind of it. Make sure to hit that notification subscribe button because when baby comes, we will be revealing his name and obviously sharing birth story and all that good stuff. In the meantime, my name is Rachel. If you have any comments or questions, feel free to drop them below. Make sure to check out those past pregnancy vlogs, including my skincare routine and supplements I take. Have a good one.